Hey, Sprawl Racer here. Sorry for the lack of content. I have actually recorded this video 3 times, have had some technical issues, and I've scrapped a couple of them, but we're a week removed from the dev update. We've gotten some updates via the forums on some of the stuff, so I figured now's probably the best time to actually make a video. Everybody races to get these videos out when these dev updates drop, and yeah, I've had over a week now to read it, think about it, get the added context from the forums, and I think now is probably the best time to actually do this. So let's jump right into it. So we are less than a week away from 2025 Season 4 build. Should be Tuesday next week, starting at about 8 a.m. Eastern. It's going to be, what, 5 a.m. Pacific. So yeah, no, we're a week away. We got a lot of cool new stuff coming this build. iRacing also goes over some of their future projects. If you're not aware, they are working on the NASCAR 2025 game. That is set to release October 14th. They've mentioned that. Excuse me, sorry about that. They've also released a trailer for iRacing Arcade, which looks like a fun game. I thought it was a mobile game at first, but it looks like you can get it through Steam. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. But we're going to kind of skip over that and get to the iRacing stuff. Season 4 is packed with numerous new features. According to Greg Hill, they finished the final third of the NASCAR refresh. We are getting a new world-renowned circuit. We're getting 3 new cars. GT4s are getting a significant overhaul. Some new VR features, maybe not, that's not confirmed yet. Expanded AI roster. I'm not a big user of AI, but for those that use it, it is a great tool. They are also doing some localization stuff in the UI. All cool. And the big feature, the new UI. Right out the gate, we're gonna hit the big one first. We are getting a new GT3. The Aston Martin Vantage Evo. Here is a picture of it here. Front engine, rear wheel drive GT3. With Le Mans Ultimate, I expect iRacing to stay on top of GT3 releases. I was really surprised we got the Acura NSX because that car had pretty much all been phased out. And this, I think, is a much better get. And yeah, no, it's just the nature of having a competitor in the market with Le Mans Ultimate. We are going to get newer GT3s. Getting into some of the controversy, though. Switching over here to what is going where, Season 4. This is from Greg West. The other Greg, we're going to skip the open wheel stuff. We're going to go straight to the sports car ladder here. Okay, you guys can all read all that. I'm just trying to work on my layout here. But we are getting the Aston Martin Vantage GT3 Evo. That is going to bump the Audi R8 out of IMSA. I believe when I started iRacing, they had like 6 or 7 cars you could have at one time. You had like the the Corvette prototype. You had some GTEs and some GT3s, if I remember correctly. We've come a long way, but we still are limited to, I believe, 16 cars. So Audi is out of IMSA, Aston is in. Realistically, I don't think anybody supports the Audi R8 IRL, so that is not a big deal in my opinion. But what is causing a lot of the controversy is we are going to get 3 new regional GT3 series. Just like FIA F4, we started with open and fixed. Then we got fixed America, fixed Pacific Asia, fixed Europe or something of that. I don't run the F4. But we essentially went from 2 to 5 series. Then they killed off open, so we're down to 4. And this has caused a lot of controversy. Dropping out of reader mode here. 195 potatoes to 43 thumbs up. This is probably one of the most potatoed posts I've ever seen from iRacing since they were going to take away the 900 horsepower from the... Sorry guys, I'm on my keyboard. From the Gen 4. And they look like they're digging the heels in on this. They mentioned during their podcast that they expected this to not go over very well. I don't run GT3. I don't really have any dogs in the fight. However, I personally am not a fan of more series in iRacing. I feel like we're at a point where if a series is not splitting 2 or 3 times, it's considered dead, and then it just falls away with minimal participation. I think this is going to hurt a lot of, or really segment the GT3 community. And realistically, I think it's going to be a lot like the F4, where a more popular track is going to dominate. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know what stats they're looking at to consider F4 to be a success. But hey, it's their sandbox. They can do what they want. But there's some controversy with that in the GT3s. Moving back over to the dev update, though. Another new car, Indy Lights, or Indy Next, whatever you want to call it. The Dallara IL15. 2015, we're 2025. This is a 10-year-old car. That's not a dig at iRacing, that's a dig at IndyCar. But it does have push to pass, it does have a halo, and this is the modified iteration of the Indy NXT or Indy Lights car. This is a good ad, actually a really good one. However, again, a little bit of controversy going back to where things are going. They are fragmenting the ladder for the IndyCar, in my opinion. This car is going to come with 2 series, both fixed, one running road, running oval. But to facilitate that at a C level, they are basically getting rid of the PM18 road oval series. So just pulling iRacing up over here, it's on that monitor. Let's drop it over here. Let's go to official. Let's filter to IndyCar, and let's take that off. So right now, if you look at the IndyCar ladder, you have D-Class Indy Pro PM18, the Junior Open Wheel Oval Challenge. I wouldn't consider that a proper series. That's more of what I would call a fun series, which I'm fine with. Don't take that as a shot. I actually raced Lanier a season or 2 ago. An amazing, fun race. I think the series does have a place on iRacing, but if we're looking at the ladder as a whole, that shouldn't exist. You have the USF 2000, which is the same car as the Pro 2000 PM18 with less horsepower at the D level. Then you move up to the C level with the Indy Pro. You go from fixed to open. I think D to C, that's a beautiful transition. Indy Pro PM2 or PM18 does run road courses and ovals. It's open and it's a great stepping stone. This NASCAR iRacing series, that is essentially NIS for IndyCar. We're gonna forget about that. Oh no, as I hit like 18 wrong buttons. Again, this is what I would consider a fun series, not a ladder series, but it definitely has a place as a touring series. Same thing with Indy Oval. That is, in my opinion, a fun series, not a touring, or it falls into the category of not an IRL replicating series. What would have been beautiful is if they just fit in the Indy Lights 15 at the B class, make the IndyCar A class. You go Formula V, Formula 1600 at rookie, to the USF 2000 in D, PM18 C, Indy Lights B, IndyCar A. A beautiful transition, a perfect ladder. You just work your way up the rungs. I don't know why. I think there might be something because Penske doesn't run those lower divisions. I think that's run by Anderson. I'm not super savvy on that. Please disregard if I'm giving any bad information there. If you know, let me know in the comments. But essentially what they're doing is they're keeping Indy at B class. They're shoehorning in Indy Next in C class. However, the Indy Next is more powerful and more downforce than the F3 and the Super Formula Lights. So even from that standpoint, it doesn't really make a lot of sense in my opinion. But we're going to get 2 series, both fixed at the C class. We are losing the Indy Pro, Indy Pro 2000 PM18. That's a mouthful. We're losing that series altogether, which is a real shame for that community. Now, it's not, as you can see here, it's not the most popular series, but it does have a dedicated community a great Discord, and those guys are super helpful, super friendly. Anytime I've wanted to race this car and I've been there, had questions, just an all-around great community. In my opinion, iRacing's doing them dirty, but again, it's their sandbox. They can do what they want. But yeah, that's what we got going on with the IL-15, Indy Lights, Indy Next, whatever. We're getting a decade-old car, shoehorning in. I don't know. It kind of takes some of the fun out of it for me. I don't know why we can't use the A license. If people can't earn it, they don't deserve it. But hey, that's an argument for another day. But back on track. This one is something I'm actually really looking forward to. We are getting the Mustang GT4. Now, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, Will hates GT4s. Well, more important than getting the Mustang, we are getting a full GT4 update. We're talking, I got the whole list here. ABS, TC, ECS systems are completely overhauled. Dampers for improved body control. I mean, everything about this car is getting a workover. It's getting updated tires, similar to what they did with GTP and GT3. And I am actually really looking forward to it. Some of the setup builders, I believe Christian Challoner, sorry if I say your name wrong, he mentioned that they're going to be faster down the straight with lower apex speeds, relating more to the real world. On average, we're looking for about a half a second to a second a lap quicker. I've done a lot of testing with the McLaren at Suzuka this week. I have a setup in my Discord. I haven't got a chance to race it yet. It's been busy, but it does seem to be competitive for my iRating level. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to run that. But if not, I have kind of a reference point Tuesday when the build drops of how different things feel. But yeah, no, Mustang GT4, that's a great add. But more importantly, the GT4 update is what I'm actually really looking forward to. Going from the M2 to the Porsche Cup was a big jump, and the GT4s in the past just have felt very dead to me. The ABS, the traction control, do the bulk of the driving for you, and it feels like you got to use your pedals like light switches, full throttle, throttle off, full brake, brake off, and there is, I mean, some of that's a skill issue, but overall, I think the GT4s just felt very bleh, very bland. I think I referred to them in a different post on the forums as like unseasoned chicken, like there's substance there, but it's just not enjoyable. So I'm really excited to see about the GT4s, how they feel, how they live up. I ran a poll in my Discord. It looks like the community wants to run the Mustang GT4. So I'll be working on setups for them for next season, and you can get those in the Discord. Link in the description. But you know, big update there for GT4s, and we're adding the Mustang. Super awesome. Another thing, we are getting the GT3 M4 updated to the Evo. If you already own the car, you're fine. It's just an artwork update and obviously some like back end stuff. You might have to update your paints and maybe some setup tweaks, but you are getting that, so that's always really cool. This one is one I'm also really looking forward to. We are getting the hybrid update. So they did a fundamental overhaul on their hybrid systems on the GTP, the Ferrari 499P hypercar, the Mercedes W12, W13, and I believe they are working on the LMP. LMP wants to get an update. So I'm super excited about that. I hope the LMP ones get added to the GTE series because, I mean, those are both great cars. And the IndyCar hybrid system is not going to make this build. It should be ready for the next build, fingers crossed, because that one's a manual deploy only. A little history here. The McLaren F1 car was hyper complex. I think that killed some participation on it. When we got the W12, iRacing dumbed it down, for lack of a better term, make it a easier barrier to entry. I personally was not a fan of that. I love the complexity of the McLaren. I mean, not fingers crossed. Just saying, I didn't race it, but I always felt like it was something I could work towards. The LMP ones were complex, not quite as complex as the McLaren, but we really got a dumbed down system with the W12, then the W13. That came to the GTPs. I think there was a lot of excitement around getting GTPs. It was very rare for iRacing to have up-to-date prototypes. We got the LMP ones after they were decommissioned. And so I think people kind of just accepted it. It is what it was. It was just good to have a GTP. but it wasn't until the Ferrari came out that people really like got upset. So I wish we were more upset as a community when we got the W12. But here we are getting it updated. Thank you iRacing for that, and I am looking forward to it. Getting into tracks, we are getting the Mexico Grand Prix circuit, Autodrome Hermanos Rodriguez, and we're going to get 7 different layouts, including the oval, which is really, I don't know, we'll see what it's like. It's flat and not quite perfectly oval, but that's going to be a good addition. That should be popular in all series. And as you pull into the stadium area, they mentioned that we're going to get some awesome audio reverb with the updated audio system that they're working on. So that's always cool to see. Alton Park gets a rework. This is not a rescan, just an artwork update. I love to see that. They're finishing up all of the NASCAR refresh. So Daytona, Coda, Watkins Glen, Chicago, Texas are just artwork refreshes. I hope we don't get the stupid all concrete bus stop at Daytona, but we probably are. Thank you for that. Spacing out on his name here. Ryan Priest. You had to go wrecking through the grass. But rescans, Gateway is getting a rescan. Excuse me, sorry about that. Charlotte is getting a partial rescan, so we're going to get a new Roval layout. That's like the 16th Roval layout. Wilkesboro is getting rebuilt. If you didn't know, the current Wilkesboro is a scan, but then kind of rebuilt to how it was in the 80s, late 80s. So we're going to have 2 of those. Sonoma was repaved, scan that almost made the last build. We're going to get that. Rockingham might make this build. However, when we do get Rockingham, we get to keep the old Rockingham. That was confirmed in the forums. But yeah, that's it for that. The next big thing, and I'm going to kind of skip through all the wordage here. If you go to the forums, you could kind of read all that. Essentially, they had to build the new UI from the ground up using newer technology. A lot of what we're going to get is going to be the same information as what we had. It's just going to look different and modernized. But because we have a new architecture, they can add features in the future. So if you use JRT iOverlay Race Labs for certain features, you're probably going to need to keep using those, but they plan to add new features in the future. They mentioned basic telemetry, which I'm assuming is throttle and brake traces. So don't expect a wealth of new information. It's mostly going to be an artwork update with a lot of back-end stuff we don't get to see, but it's going to allow them to do more in the future. And here's a picture here of the race screen. I mean, realistically, if you know the iRacing UI, this is all relatively the same information other than there is a real world clock. But yeah, no, so that's that there. Again, I think it's great. They're updating that, and I'm excited more to see what's going to happen in the future compared to what we have now. I do like the new Delta bar. If you ever noticed some of my older videos when I used Race Labs, I used something similar. Again, everything is really kind of similar to what we've had before, just polished up. Some of the black boxes are going to have an expanded state, so you could kind of expand them and get more information. We got the camera tools here. You'll have actually a camera tool button somewhere, or you can still do Control F12. Some of your settings are going to be a little more modular. So, I mean, all of this looks really good. Again, it's not highly new information, but it allows them to do more in the future, and that's always good to see. This is eye tracking for VR. So if your VR headset has eye tracking, it's going to focus rendering in higher detail where you're looking. This might make the build, it might not. They said it's kind of going through the final stages of QA, but I used VR back in the day when I first started, like 2017, 2018. I loved it. It literally puts you in the car. However, the technology back then wasn't as good as what it is today. I'll probably be just an old guy using triples for the rest of the time. But if you want to have the most immersive experience, VR is the way to go. and I love to see these updates come for those VR users. What else here? They're doing some back-end stuff with texture compression. We really won't notice a lot of that outside of the initial update, but they are looking at future expansion for paint capabilities. Not quite sure what that is. I wish we could do neon colors, but maybe bigger paint files. We'll see. Another really cool thing is we're getting some localization. So in the UI, you can pick your language. On release, we're going to get Latin Spanish, German, French, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, European Spanish, and there will be more languages in the December and March build. So that's always cool to see. iRacing is a global product, and it's nice that people are getting... it's just a cool feature. So that's pretty much everything that's coming with the build. Now, as far as what's coming down the line, they're still working on graphic stuff. We are possibly going to get some new trees in the future. Current trees don't have shade. New trees will have shade. That looks really good. But as somebody who, like, whenever I record, I have a hard time with trees. So I basically turn 2 past trees and high-res trees off. We are getting a new tire model they're working on, which is more modular. Just a kind of a zoomed in photo here. Can I zoom? I can't if I turn my keyboard on. So the tire is going to be more modular, so you'll have more information coming to the wheel, which is always really nice. What else are they working on? They're still working on career mode. Personally, not super interested in that. However, people are looking forward to it, and just new features are always good, whether I use them or not. Few things they're working on in no particular order. Gen 4 drafting, they know it's broken. Gen 4 AI is coming to the Season 4 build. They added that line on last second. Oval Refresh Phase 2 did not advance. I expect some of the NASCAR 25 game and the artwork and stuff maybe caused an issue with that. Not quite sure, but that is something they're still working on. They are exploring opportunities to improve dirt oval racing across many systems, including tires, track dynamic modeling, and rule sets. As somebody who joined iRacing for dirt oval, I've been very disappointed. I really expected more from them after rain came, and I really need to make a video of all the things I would like to see them add, whether it's just quality of life things or updates to the surface. This line doesn't make me feel that we're going to see anything good anytime soon. It's a bummer there, but I mean, this is more than saying nothing, I guess. They're still working on their new audio features. They're working with Microsoft with their machine learning AI for AI driver performance. What else we got here? They are working on race control systems, including multi-class race starts and a choose rule. Choose rule, someone in my Discord mentioned, like, it's going to be comical because we can't figure out how to pace without it, and adding something else to pacing and caution laps is just going to be a mess. I kind of agree with that. Justin was really excited about the multi-class race start. I don't know why he's worried, because he literally races the Clio and the Ford GT2, and he's starting by himself 90% of the time. I'm just kidding, Justin. But yeah, that's always good to see them working on that. Dirt Oval AI has made significant progress. I'm hoping once they get Dirt Oval AI, they can use that to update other Dirt Oval features. We'll see. They're working on animations, adding animated pit stops to one of our major classes. I'm assuming GT3 because that's the class. So yeah, Miami is going to come to season 1 release. I'm kind of reading this here before I speak. But one thing that is really cool, and one thing I wasn't expecting, they are working on dirt road content. I think it's been like 18,000 years since they got something. Somebody has something in their forum signature that talks about how long it's been. But yeah, no, FIA cross car. This looks like it's going to be a rookie level car. I hope it's free. If it's not free, I don't expect it to be too popular. But a good entry level dirt road car. Hopefully restructure the ladder and we get some of these series back and pumping. They're also working on The off-road track at Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland. I don't know if they scan that when they scan the oval. Not sure what's going on there, but dirt road content is coming, you guys. You dirt road guys only have to wait maybe a season or two more. Adelaide is coming. It's well underway. They got the license for St. Petersburg. Not a surprise on this because they're going to do an IndyCar game. I know I kind of skipped that at the beginning, but it is confirmed 2026, late 2026. iRacing is going to release their own IndyCar game, the same way they're doing NASCAR 25 this year. Not surprised to see St. Petersburg on that list. Adelaide is going to be great for V8 supercars. They mentioned they are going to scan a handful of new tracks, many prominent North American road circuits. Not sure what's left in North America they don't have. Some EU locations in the Middle East. So no, they're hustling. They got stuff coming down the line. I think we all kind of know that. But yeah, no, that's kind of where we are there, and that's kind of the end of it. Going over some photos. This is Olton screenshot. We see the new grass. Looks like we got some new artwork for the tire bundles. We got the trees. We looked at that. Pull up the garage. This is the new garage. Same as the old garage. Other than like when something's yellow, it looks like it highlights the whole line, and you get a little yield sign. These are the chassis. Again, IL-15 I'm looking forward to. I'm not too concerned about the GT3, but it's always nice to see them keeping that class up to date to compete with LMU. And the car I will race primarily next season, assuming GT4s work good, is going to be the Mustang. What else? We got this screenshot. I have no clue what it is, but I love it. Sonoma scan. I was bummed out that this didn't make the last build. iRacing, please give us green springtime Sonoma. That's all I want. And shot a photo of Wheatland. This is their dirt road course. Some shots of Mexico. The stands look very uniform. As someone who races with the audience or crowd off, I never get to see that. And then a good screenshot of the redone North Wilkesboro. But yeah, no, that's it. Sorry for the delay on this. Like I said, I recorded this like 3 times now, and I had technical issues and mic issues, and I did one where I had all my lighting off. It's been a heck of a week, heck of a month. Ever since I hurt my leg, this whole season's kind of gone to crap. But I'm looking forward to, I have Tuesday off, got childcare, so I'm going to try to record as many videos as possible on Tuesday showing and highlighting the new stuff. I'm going to start getting work on GT4 Mustang setups for, I believe we're starting the season at the new Roval. And yeah, I'm going to try to get a jump start on that. And yeah, if there's anything you want to watch me race, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, reach out. And with that, have a great day.